I'm Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
We're going for a drive.
The new 2020 Porsche Macan
S with launch control. Not bad.
That's pretty good launch control for like a non-sport model.
And this doesn't have the Sport Chrono package, so it's a little bit slower off the line, but still quite good.
Does it say launch control or is it like unofficial?
It's unofficial, but it still builds boost.
Okay, cool. Horsepower and torque.
348 horsepower, 352 pound-feet of torque from an all-new 3-liter V6 twin-scroll turbo.
So floor it for me again. Ooh, that needle moves so fast.
I know.
I miss that about Porsche stuff.
PDKs, man. So this does have the 7-speed PDK, and it is lightning because it is a Porsche.
And I can see that you've got the older style gauges in there.
Yes, we do.
Why is that?
Because this has been refreshed, but not like fully refreshed.
Okay, so all new Porsches have been getting the widescreen digital thing for infotainment.
And they've also been getting lots of gloss black buttons in the center console.
And the center shifter is now being replaced with what looks like a bronze shaver.
Correct, but this one does not have that. That is currently only on the 911.
So what they did with this one, they updated the infotainment, they left the gauges the same, and then they left the bottom shifter area the same with all the buttons.
So this is basically the best of every world right now from Porsche.
Except for one thing.
What's that?
The shifter in manual mode, up for up and down for down.
Whatever.
They switched that out right after we reviewed our first Macan GTS.
But we do have these amazing paddles, and I'm gonna send it into Cliche Corner with them, and man, this thing shifts so quick, and this Macan just handles so damn well, as it always has. It doesn't handle as well as the old GTS did.
And it won't kick your back out like the Alfa Romeo Stelvio or the Levante.
No, that's right. This is definitely on the safer side. But it'll still out-handle pretty much 90% of regular cars on the road.
Yeah, I guess a lot of our focus is just on like driftability.
Well, just fun ability.
Yeah, which is driftability.
Which is rear-wheel drive tendencies. However, this is rear-wheel bias because it is all-wheel drive. And it's actually really cool to see the torque split in the gauges because it's very heavily rear biased.
But you know what sucks? It doesn't have an SD card so you can play what you're driving through the front camera like the Corvette. Because it is dangerous to look at that while driving, but the Corvette handled that wonderfully.
But this isn't like a track car.
I know, but like, why can't more cars have that?
I don't know.
Why?
But back to handling, this does handle very well. It's very comfortable on the road. I've had no issues driving it in sport mode every day. And we have our adjustable drive modes just through a couple hard buttons in the center console.
Yes, and our blank buttons are just blank buttons at the bottom and they don't look bad.
Honestly, I regret ever complaining about blank hard buttons if I ever complained about them before because it's not the new gloss black system. So
and you're not getting a gloss black reflection from the buttons into your eyes like we did on the, I think, first Panamera we drove.
Yeah, exactly. But we do have a sport mode. We do have 2 levels of suspension damping, and then we can also lower it because this does have air suspension, and we can also jack it up because it does have off-road modes.
Yeah, and sport mode, really what it does, it pretty much just throws you into a lower gear.
Yeah, pretty much. But it really helps when you want to like send a bit. And we don't have any adjustable exhaust because we don't have the sport exhaust, so there is no button for that.
And here's how it sounds, which is still pretty good.
All right, so I'm gonna move it into manual, so that's full manual, downshift and send. It's really good. There's a lot of low-end torque. It's not overly fast, but I think they got the level of power correct for the S model.
Yeah, not the most, but still better than base.
Exactly, because they just came out with the turbo, and then there's no GTS, because the GTS usually comes at the end of that refresh model year.
Just so they can still get a couple more sales off an older model.
Pretty much, yeah.
But I think this thing's gonna have to be refreshed sooner than later because it's got all this sweet spot stuff in here. I just can't get over
the sweet spot's
how
so
good it is.
Yeah.
Porsche designers, go back to this. Please!
But let's talk about that engine. So it's all new, it pulls pretty hard, lots of low-end torque, and I do really like it. It is improved over the last year. There is a little bit more horsepower, so I do like what they did with it. And 0 to 100 kilometers per hour is 5.3 seconds in this one, but if you get the Sport Chrono pack, it's 5.1 seconds.
I guess because the real launch control just boosts you a little harder off the line.
You got it. And they did actually improve the brakes this year, so they are noticeably better. They don't look as cool though, because there's no red calipers, which I'm kind of disappointed, but you can get carbon ceramics, which are very expensive.
Yeah, these aren't drilled or anything, and I feel like I haven't driven a Porsche without like fancy brakes in a while.
Yeah, no, they still feel very good, but they're not.
Hit me with it.
All right. Yeah.
Pretty good.
No carbon ceramics, but quite good. I just wish the calipers looked a little cooler.
But they say Porsche on it.
They do. But there is a lot to talk about with the outside and the inside, so let's get you into the driver's seat.
I'm gonna launch it into 91 blue.
And what does 91 blue mean?
Okay, so the paint on this car is actually Miami blue.
Yes, it is. This is Miami blue.
But if you're getting a Golf R, it's going to be called 91 blue.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the exact same paint code, so watch our Golf R versus Stinger video.
But like, that's a good way to change the name of blue. Like 91 blue, Miami blue, it makes perfect sense.
It does make perfect sense, and I love how this thing looks. It looks so good in this color, and it's kind of funny because it's $3,500 for the option in this, but it's like $3,000 on the Golf R.
Yeah, and they have to take it to a different factory to paint the Golf R. Whatever. I like it. So the first thing I noticed with the upgraded looks was that tail light that goes all the way across.
That is the most distinctive update for sure.
I love that part of new Porsches, and I think they absolutely nailed that across the whole board.
Yeah, so do I. I love it. It looks so good because the Carrera S, the 4S, like the wide ones, that's what you got on those ones, and now you get it on all the lineup, which is great because it makes it look wider overall.
And now let's move down to the exhaust.
I love how it looks. It's real exhaust.
It looks so real.
How hard is that? Every other manufacturer.
Well, it probably is hard.
No, it's not.
Anyways, I think it looks great. Then we don't have full paint going all the way down the bumper. I think that's reserved for like the turbo models.
No, you can option anything you want. You can option a painted bumper.
But I think that comes stock on the higher end models. And then if we look at the back from the side view, does it not look coupey slanty?
It does look a little bit coupey, but not as coupey as coupe SUVs.
But they couldn't make a Macan coupe.
No.
Because it already is that much.
Well, it's like just enough to not look like a coupe, but
they
enough to look good.
They physically couldn't make a coupe version because it would look exactly the same.
It would look too similar.
But you don't mind it.
No,
because
because
you usually hate them.
Yeah, because this isn't super coupey.
Good job, Porsche.
This is the sweet spot of everything.
And if we go side view, because it is the S model, we do have black on the door, which I don't totally mind. It's like, okay, but I think I prefer color match.
You can pay for color match side blades if you want, and then you can also get Macan S written into it, and then you can pick the color of Macan S written into it. Oh, and even the side skirts, you can get those painted, and you can actually get a full body kit all the way around that changes the whole look of this car.
Or just get the top trim.
Yeah, well.
And this doesn't really have any chrome on the sides. It's all blacked out. Is that also a package?
Obviously, and it looks so good. I would definitely option this package.
So what do you think of the wheels on this?
I love them. They look so good. They are called classic wheels, and they are so fitting for that title.
Yeah, it's a modern take on, like, I guess the ones on the 914 almost that we drove earlier, or we didn't drive. It was the V8 one. Or
Yes,
the V8
one we didn't drive.
No, it was the 8-cylinder one. I don't know if it was.
It was a flat 8. Sorry, You're right. Yeah, ooh,
Yeah.
We're gonna get destroyed in the comments for that one.
Whatever.
V8s.
V4.
Well, technically, Cayennes and stuff have V8s. Whatever. It's all good.
And what is the Continental recommended tire for the Macan S?
The Conti Sport Contact 5P.
So now if we move on to the front end, the biggest difference I noticed was the headlights.
What did you notice?
They kind of angled the lights a little differently.
Yeah, the top of the 4 LED things, they are angled, like kind of angry headlights,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. I'm not sure if I like it yet.
I think my favorite is still that one Panamera that had the X right across while driving it. And then with the headlights, my favorite part is how this hood opens up. So it wraps around the lights and everything. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like, you can put your hand through it. I like it.
Is this the best hood that opens up from the windshield?
For an SUV, 100%.
Cars too. Like, the only cars that are cooler are the ones that open the opposite way.
Well, the Supra opens that way when it's got like the clamshell thing, and the Z4, coincidentally. So that's pretty much it for looks. I think they upgraded the right parts of this, and I think it looks better overall.
Yeah, it definitely matches the rest of the Porsche lineup for 2020.
And I just love it in this Miami blue. Like, I can't get over how good it looks. Like, if you want to make a statement in an SUV, you get a Macan in Miami blue.
Yeah, Miami blue is really good. You know, I'm not a fan of blues, but I do like this one.
So let's talk about this interior.
Yes, I want to start with the gauges. So, unlike the newer ones, we don't have like 2 digital pods on each side. We only have 1 digital pod on the right, and it's so good.
I love this. This is so good.
Like, it actually is a sweet spot. Like, no clutter, no dumb stuff.
I love the analog tack dead center. They nail it.
Every time you downshift, it's so fast. Nobody's gotten anything close to that good.
I know. Like, how hard is that?
It can't be that hard.
It can't be that hard.
Everyone else, take notes. So let's talk about the paddles. Absolutely perfect.
Absolutely perfect. Metal, not too big, but they feel good.
Oh, and now the RS6 is getting aluminum paddles.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're fixing
you
stuff.
You did take notes. Speaking of the RS6, the guy from Audi said everyone needs to buy wagons or else they're never bringing wagons back again.
The RS6 wagon, by the way.
So buy the RS6 wagon.
Yeah, even though we don't get any money for it, we just want to drive more wagons because wagons are super cool.
And then our infotainment does have rewinding satellite radio, so it is the new style. But the shortcut button on the steering wheel still doesn't let you seek between your favorites. So if you go through channel 1, you click it, you'll go to channel 2. So you got to go all the way through 300 to get to like 305.
And then if we go to our car settings, there's not actually any settings in there. It's actually like just nothing really in there.
So as for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, this does have Apple CarPlay, which is great, but it's not wireless. So you can have wireless CarPlay. Or not.
So I have a friend that did some digging really recently, and apparently Porsches have built-in Android Auto and people have hacked it into it. So it is in the system, but you can't enable it very easily. So
allegedly.
Allegedly, and it's a hack, so you're definitely gonna avoid your warranty. But apparently it's built in, it just doesn't have it.
I guess Porsche's just like,
they're getting ready.
They're just they've got everything, they're just doing the bargaining, and the second they sign the check, everyone's things gets enabled.
Exactly. And then we have a ton of gloss black, which I am not a fan of.
Yeah, it's like not really in any touch points, so it's like not the worst gloss black.
Yeah, it is definitely not the worst, but it's like this big swath of it right in front of me right now.
And then this whole interior is black, so it's not like that flashy, but I guess you make up for it with the cool paint color.
Yeah, I would definitely get a red interior on this. I think that'd be a friggin' bold statement.
So then let's talk about this middle section. We briefly spoke about it earlier. So we got a volume knob and this knob here. That's not really a tuning knob, but it can be, but it's also a scroll wheel.
We have hard buttons for all of our climate control. We have heated and cooled seats. I love it.
It's absolutely perfect. So how about a small cup of coffee?
I'm gonna give that a fail. It's actually hovering, Yuri.
That's 100% a fail.
That
wow.
100% a fail.
Shocked.
Let's test the visors now. Come on,
3,
Porsche.
2, 1.
Damn. Box test, redeeming quality. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Get your own box on patreon.com/TheStraightPipes. I'd say that's a pretty decent redeeming quality.
Okay, so now let's talk about the seats.
Seats are very comfortable. These are not the most expensive seats you can get, but these are very comfortable as the middle seats.
No issues whatsoever.
And one thing that I noticed is that when you set your presets, because by the way, the passenger also has it, your lumbar gets saved, which I don't remember any other manufacturer having that.
I think a few people have done stuff like with steering wheel settings and climate and radio, but like not everyone does something that great.
Exactly.
And before we talk about the rear seat room, I'm going to give it a little send into cliche. I don't feel like this handles as well as the GTS we drove earlier did.
No, it definitely doesn't.
And I can like really notice it, but I feel like this isn't one of those that you buy to handle really well.
No, definitely. You want the GTS or the turbo if you want handling, like ultimate handling.
Yes, so now let's talk about the back seat room. Do you fit?
I do fit, not the best, but decently.
Oh, and you pointed out one thing earlier as well. You can control where the vents go with your hands.
Yeah, it's not the super fancy systems of the new Panamera and stuff, so yeah.
Sweet spot again.
I know.
Nailed it.
So that's pretty much it, except for the price.
Hit me with it.
Starts at $63,000.
Canadian.
This one is $85,820.
That's not that bad to have a really cool blue Porsche.
It really isn't. And if you didn't want that, you save yourself $3,500, but you definitely shouldn't, and you should get this.
So overall, the changes that they made to the exterior, like with the taillights and on the interior, making this a sweet spot, makes it very nice.
Yeah, and they upgraded the performance and everything. This is a very nice upgrade. Good refresh, like a solid refresh.
So let us know what you think of the new Macan S. Leave a comment below.
Are you excited for the GTS that's gonna come out later, or do you want the turbo right now, or would you just get the S? Or would you even get the base model? Subscribe, hit the notification bell.
Patreon.com/TheStraightPipes and Teespring for shirts.
Yo, Cliche Corner though.